Hello, Julian Northbrook from doingenglish.com here. Hello. If you haven't noticed, basically all the videos you've been watching recently, I filmed them on one long walk. Did you catch on? Because if you didn't, well, that's good. So, you want to improve your English speaking. Now, once you reach the high intermediate level, there are various factors, various things that you need to consider. It's not that simple of a process. Like English teachers who have never learned languages in their life before, sellers of certain products and certain things will kind of make it out to be a lot more simplistic than it actually is. Because, ultimately, people are people, and the fundamentals are fundamentals. What I do in my courses is I kind of take the basics of good psychology as a basis for what I do. Best practices as far as improving English, speaking a second language are concerned. And then I customize on a person-by-person basis, which is why basically all of my courses include some kind of coaching component. Go back far enough back in the day, yes, I did the kind of film it once and then just sell it forever kind of course. And, people did fairly well with it. Because even then I was very much aware of the fact that, it's like different people are different and each person will need to take a slightly different approach. So that was included in those, but these days everything I do includes a coaching component of some description, usually for my Master English Fast Accelerator course and Extraordinary English Speakers. That means the weekly group coaching call, as well as the discussion group and the email support system and things. So if you were going to do one thing, what is the one thing, the top one thing that I would recommend to improve your English? First of all, you've got to understand that, everybody is different. So, it really does depend on you. But generally speaking, for most people, I would say the one thing that you need to think of is taking what I like to call a two-track approach. What I mean by this is a period of highly intensive scheduled time each and every day, where you are going to sit down with the sole intention of learning, growing your knowledge of the English language. This is where you're going to sit down and you're going to study phrases, expressions, chunks of English, bits of the language. It's going to be highly focused, highly intensive study time. It's study. You're not going to be able to get around the fact that you have to study English if you want to get good at English. People come out of all this bullshit about, I want to learn like a child. Not realising that kids work really fucking hard at their own language, and they don't really fully develop their language system for about 12 years. Yeah, sure, if you've got the next 12 years to fuck around improving your English, be my guest. If you want to get it done in the next 6 to 12 months, or over the next few years, depending on how much time you're going to put into this and just how extensive your goals are, because obviously the more focused, the tighter your goals, the faster you can go, then study is going to be an essential component of everything that you do. But that in and of itself is not enough. You need more than that, because if you are all study all the time, like some people are, you will end up with a very, very academic knowledge of English, but you'll be stuck overthinking things in your head, translating, really kind of unable to actually put that to use in the real world. So, alongside your shorter, focused, scheduled period of intensive study, I also want you to do as much in the language as you possibly can. And this is where you're now going to let go of the need to learn. Forget about learning, forget about improving your English, just concentrate on doing shit. Whether that's reading books, watching films, watching TV shows, listening to podcasts, listening to the radio, chatting with your friends, co-workers, spouse, or whoever it might be that you speak to in English. So you're really kind of wound up tight for the intensive learning time, and then let that go and just kind of do shit in the language for the rest of the time. Repeat that every single day, and you're going to improve. Now, of course, you've got to be studying the right things for you. There's no point in putting intensive learning time into English every single day if you are learning something that's totally relevant to your life. So make sure that the materials that you use and the English that you learn is the correct English to be learning. That goes beyond the scope of this video. However, it's something I talk about quite regularly, so keep an eye on my YouTube channel and head over to doingenglish.com/free training, where you can check out my free training and I will teach you the 5 key changes you need to make to your English learning routine to see real progress in the language. And yes, I talk about the 2-track approach in there. I talk about what intensive learning is. I talk about relaxed usage, and importantly for this video, I also talk about the kind of materials that you should be thinking about, and ways of getting your samples of language for learning and why it's so important. That's doingenglish.com/free training. My hand really is now so numb from the cold, so I am off. I think this is the last video I'm going to do today. I'm off home. Bye-bye.